Good morning there, collective. It is Thursday, the 3rd of July. So tomorrow is, of course, Independence Day, so-called. I won't get started. I have a whole, diatribe of thing I can say about that particular subject, but I wish you the very best holiday. Most of you guys are probably going to be in at least a 3-day holiday starting tomorrow. I really hope you enjoy it. With that being said, let's go ahead and just look at the energy and so on as we see it for the week thus far. Then I'll go ahead and pull some tarot cards to get a more focused perspective of the energy for today. And then again, fine-tune that further with the runes for today, doing a runic river pull. And then we'll finish off with a few oracle cards. I think I'm going to go ahead and maintain that particular way of doing things until at least I get a prompt or something else, in order to go a different route with it. But it just seems to encompass everything that I'm looking for, or that you might be looking for out there, because you want me to talk about you, and I understand that. That's why you're here in the first place, to get some direction if you can, or at least another perspective of things. So that's my job, and that's what I'm here to do for you. Now, with that being said, before I do anything with the tarot, let's just go ahead and look at the past energy. The overall energy for the week was Urus. This is Urus right here in the upright, right? And it stands for strength, courage, vitality, sexual virility, the seed, all those types of things. It's kind of like the master for manifestation and so on, with a book I just read recently on the subject. So I'm still trying to fine-tune my knowledge and understanding, but like I said, there's conflicting information from one book to another, and I'm trying to trust my gut. So with that being said, being in reverse, as is oftentimes the case, but it's not as clear sometimes in the runes. It's usually just the opposite things. Sometimes other things seem to pop up in the reverse that don't seem to be really associated with what I said earlier, at least at first glance. But what Urus means in reverse as the overall energy for the week is weak will, low energy, illness, missed opportunities, weakness, obsession, domination by others, lust, ignorance, inconsistency, brutality and violence, rashness and callousness. So keep in mind, this energy that we're picking up on is energy within your energetic fields. And it's going to manifest differently for each of you. For me, it's specifically another individual. I know exactly who it's talking about. For you, it may actually be you. And take heed if that's the case. Or it may be somebody a little closer to home. It could be a child. It could be actually your significant other if you're in a relationship. Or if you're single, it could be a mother, a father, a sibling. It could be literally anybody within your sphere of energetic influence, okay? So just keep that in mind. Use your gut. Don't go into it with any type of preconceived notions. Just meditate upon it, pray upon it, better yet, fast as well upon it, and your answers will come. They will be revealed who it is that we're referring to in your individual and particular case, okay? But that's the overall energy. However, all the other energy that I got, including the pre-Thursday pull for today that I did on Sunday, which is Nauthis, which is basically, it talks about hail, disruption, change, delays, limits, upheavals, and also the fruits of your earlier investments and undertakings soon to be revealed. So if you put effort into something and you have yet to reap the rewards of that something, it's coming. Look at that in the form of either dharma, which is good karma, or of course karma if you were doing not so good things to other people. You're about to get the rewards one way or the other. That's what this is telling you. It's neither good nor bad. Okay? It just tells you whatever you put out there is what you're getting back. Now, the other energy we got for the past, for the Sunday through Wednesday, was, starting with Sunday, was Degas. Now, Degas talks about clarity, day versus nighttime clarity and observation and ability to see things. It talks about ambitions and transformations. It also talks about balance. It talks about growth, breakthroughs, I already said clarity, awareness, a time to plan or embark on a new endeavor, and security. And we see that particular word echoed through some of the other ones that we've also pulled. For example, on Monday we pulled Thursday, and that's Thor, the mighty god of thunder's rune. Now, what Thor actually translates out to be is giant or thorn. So thorn, basically, again, as I said many times in the past when we've drawn this rune, in the essence, or the, in the same way as looking at the thorns that protect the beautiful rose plant, right? Or it's actually considered a weed, but it's beautiful. And the thorns protect it. And that's what the god of thunder is actually to do. He protects, not only Asgard, but us as well, from the giants, so to speak, okay? And again, that sentiment is also echoed within biblical scripture, I might add. There's a whole Gnostic book called the Book of Giants. So look into it. It's literally found everywhere. And being that I was in the military for many, many years, it's also very, very close to home in terms of some of the recent stories coming back from Afghanistan. That's a whole nother thing, and I hope to get into that sometime soon. But it's very, very interesting. There have been multitudes of giant skeletons that have been found in the United States alone, but they're literally found in every single culture. Once the Smithsonian Institute gets a hold of them, they disappear for some reason. I believe that is their cleanup crew, and by them I'm talking about those who are trying to keep a very specific history out there for the rest of us to believe in. They will take away any and all other information that would conflict with what they want you to believe. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but I will prove it to you. Just give me the time. Allow me the effort to get out of this and go through my learning processes fully. And then I don't want to rush this process. I want to make sure I get all the lessons I need. And once I get out of this, and then I'm completely stable again, I'm going to make some really, really informative and hopefully very entertaining videos for you. It won't be just this my face and my voice. I know that people want to be entertained as well as learn. So, and I will give you all that. So anyways, that's what basically Thursday means. It means protection and so on, okay? Now, on pre-Tuesday, we pulled Lagos. Lagos means anything related to water, such as, in the African Yoruba tribe, Oshun is the goddess, beautiful goddess of the fresh waters. I've worked with her, okay? And basically, when we're talking about water in terms of divination, we always have to look at things also in terms of the 4 elements. There's actually 5, but they removed the 5th one in the, I think it was early 1900s or late 1800s, which is the ether, if you will, the spirit of the thing that binds all things together, if you will. It was actually in the periodic table until that point. And then, of course, science, so-called, comes in and says, well, we can't measure it, so we can't, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, they couldn't build an instrument. They weren't smart enough to figure it out. So they're going to say, well, since we are so egotistical and everything else, we can't allow something up there that we can't say that we can quantify or measure. Even though in every culture they refer to it, And geniuses of our past have also referred to it, from people such as, I'll just talk about the most recent, Nikola Tesla. He said that once science actually embodies the non-material, or in other words, the etheric or the spiritual aspects of things, they will advance more in 10 years than they did in the last 200 years. And I believe that to be true. Look at him. He did. He was way ahead of his time. All right, I don't want to get too many tangents, but I like to teach as well as edify, so just please bear with me. I hope that resonates with some of you out there. All right, so what does legus mean? In terms of a watery element, we're talking about things that are of emotion, things that are feminine in nature, the psychic or the divine feminine, intuition, psychic abilities, the ability to look into the future, the ability to know one's fate or the fate of the future. And you can be a man and still be within your divine feminine aspects. I am. So, and that just simply means that I have these intuitive abilities, and I have the ability to tap into certain things. It also talks about, of course, nurturing and things like that. So I have that part of me, and I was able to develop that more by raising 4 kids on my own. So not only do I have my masculine side, and I got a lot of that out when I was in the Marine Corps for 12 years, but I have my divine feminine side that I developed through the trials and tribulations of raising 4 kids on your own, you know? And I've learned how to balance things out. It didn't happen overnight. It wasn't an easy process, but God gives us the tools. And if we just recognize it, I mean, we are being forged in the fire of, you know, the things that are happening to us each and every day and around us. Be aware at the moment of what's going on around you, and you will learn so much more. All right, moving on. So it also talks about life energy, healing powers, acting as a magnet. You're drawing things to you rather than going out and grabbing them, kind of a thing. That's the divine feminine. Renewal and growth. The unknown. Well, there's my little buddy, the squirrel. He's come back to check up on me. I'm sorry, little guy, I don't have anything to feed you. But you can come on up here and say hello to my collective. You want to come on up here? You'd make them all very happy. You would. Come on. You want to come up? I don't have anything to feed you. I think he's adopted me, but he's a mooch. You can come up. You can come up. I won't hurt you. You already know that. You wouldn't have gotten this close. All right, so what else does legus mean? Well, it also talks about the underworld. And the underworld in Norse terms is called Helheim. It's not hell, which is a place of torment like we see in all the Abrahamic faiths. It's a place really of rest and reflection. It's dim, and it's ruled by the daughter of Loki. Half of her symbolically is dead. The other half is alive. And Loki is the great trickster god in Norse beliefs. And again, we can see him kind of like the god Enki in terms of the Anunnaki or the ancient Mesopotamian, Babylonian, and Akkadian accounts. They called him, I said Esau yesterday. That wasn't correct. That's a biblical name. It was, I keep forgetting. I had it at the tip of my tongue. I forget. But it starts with an E. And I don't know why I can't remember it when I get on camera. It's like me when I'm playing my music. I play flawlessly, then I get on camera. It's like I can't play without fucking up. I get stage fright. I'm still a little shy, so forgive me. But anyways, there are a lot of, I guess you could say, parallels within the so-called mythologies. I hate when they use that word because it's like kind of rubbing these other cultures' beliefs and their, you know, rubbing their nose into, it ain't true. Science won't allow it to be true. They're going to give it another name like mythology or whatever to make it a lesser reality. Now, granted, they may have actually over the, many centuries changed the reality of the history to some degree, so it's reflecting of events that actually did occur with deities, entities, what have you, that were actually genuinely here. But over the course of time and passing it down from generation to generation, usually by word of mouth, before it became the written word, sometimes it has a tendency to pick up a flavor of a specific culture versus the reality of an eyewitness accounting of something. So it's not that it's not genuine. You have to be able to see through the subterfuge of man and his attempts to build something around something. Because remember, Christianity, Islam, it doesn't matter, any of the Abrahamic faiths or Hinduism, Zoroastrianism, Sufism, whether you're talking about Buddhism, all of those belief systems, whether they're considered religions or philosophical beliefs, were created by people after the fact. I mean, the Buddha wasn't a Buddhist, as well as Krishna being a Hindu, or if you will. So to speak, I mean, those things were created after, because of the things that they were observed doing, saying, and everything else. I have the words of the Bhagavad Gita written here, from Krishna, as a warrior and everything else. And it echoes a lot of the same exact sentiments that you also find in books such as, not the Torah, not the Bible, I'm sorry, but the Quran, okay? In terms of a warrior and all that kind of stuff. Again, I'm getting off the beaten track, I know, but what I'm saying is there is so much that we find when we actually do a thorough research of the world's religious beliefs as well as the mythologies and things like that. You start to see patterns emerge. They're not exact by any stretch of the imagination. Of course, the names are different. The stories to some degree are also different, but you can make parallels definitely with the characters that are involved in these different stories culturally. So I see that as being, to me, a truth. All right. Now, so that's what Legos means. And finally, for pre-Wednesday, we got the rune that we pulled many times in the past, either upright or reverse, this time in the upright, Othala, which means anything to do with home, house, property, dwelling, inheritance, ancestral heritage, anything to do with spiritual and physical journeys and safety, increase and abundance. All of these types of positive attributes are also found in this week. So even though the overall energy is one of very, very, we need to be very cautious of, that's Urus in reverse, all the other 5 energies we pulled throughout the weeks thus far up till today are very, very positive. Now, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and start things off like I've been doing with 3 tarot cards to give us an overall energy, to help us to zero in on the energy, for the collective. Okay? And I believe that using these other forms of divination are very important, and it gives a more well-rounded flavor to it all too. I may do all tarot sometime, but like I said, there's so many tarot readers already out there. That's why I wanted to stick to my heritage and do the runes and really get proficient with the runes. Okay? There's just a lot more to learn about those 24 symbols that we call runes. They mean so much more, because like I said, a picture's worth 1,000 words and a symbol is worth 1,000 pictures. So there's literally, hundreds of thousands of things you can say about each and every one of those symbols, literally, just using that analogy alone. Okay. All right, so the first card, please. What is the first card for the collective? Wow, Major Arcana right off the top, man. Hierophant. Hierophant is very awesome. And at the bottom, well, it looks like we have the 4 of Wands, 4 of Staves, Staffs, however you want to refer to it. I've heard it referred to many times. And at the bottom, it talks about take the time to rest and enjoy your success, romance again, tranquility again, family, prosperity again, and harmony. Awesome. And that goes so well with, the runes such as Dagaz, Nauthiz, and Othala. So 3 runes support this card very specifically. What else? Well, the Hierophant talks about conformity typically to society's rules. It talks about morality, tradition, religion versus spirituality, if you will. It talks about group think, thinking collectively instead of singularly, which is what religion is. And this is why I discourage religion to some degree, and I really push spirituality, because you are only responsible for you in the end. Nobody else. You can't put it on a religion or any group of people and their thinking. You are responsible for what you decide. So, take this journey as a warrior would, and actually find out for yourself those things which are true. To me, that's what this kind of warns us against, in a sense. At least that's what I pick up from this. It has a lot of positive aspects to it, and it could talk about an authority that is of a religious perspective that is indeed involved in your particular situation. In my particular case, the people that I keep vaguely referencing are hiding under the veneer of light, that are actually practicing the most heinous of things in secret. But it's not secret anymore. It's all being revealed very, very soon. So, and they know it. They know that I know it. They don't know how much I know, but they know it. So that's what this is. Or it could be in your case as well. All right, so let me get two more, please. Two more energies to give us a more focused perspective for today's reading. And I thank you in advance. Thank you very much. One more. Okay. All right, Knight of Pentacles is what I pulled out. Now, the Knight of Pentacles talks about laboring towards your goal. And again, that's precisely what the rune, was it Nauthis is. Basically, not only getting the fruits of your earlier efforts, where's it at? Oh, I'm sorry, Dagas. So yeah, that one too. So you have 3 runes that actually correspond with this. Okay? So, and typically a knight is somebody who's coming and they're young, not really young, not like a child, but more like an adolescent or, teenage years or something of that nature. A little older than a page. Okay, so it could be a very young adult or whatever, but they're bringing you a message. And that could be somebody who's just not as mature. It could be an adult who's just not as mature. Laboring towards goals, diligence, hard work, long-term goals, and perseverance. All of these things are covered by these runes that we just went over. So far, very, very cohesive. All right, and at the bottom, what we pulled for that is, well, the 5 of Pentacles. 5 of Pentacles basically means somebody's feeling out in the cold, so to speak. It's a financial or spiritual hardship that they are going through, okay? And financial difficulties and troubles, hard times, possibly very cold weather. It's not cold where I'm at, that's for sure. It's already scorching. All right, let's get one more energy for the collective. Give us a more focused perspective on what this reading is all about. And thank you so much. I mean, these are blending so cohesively. One more, please. One more, please. One more time. Okay. Oh my God, another major arcana and the best one in the deck. The Sun. It would be like a Leo card, if you will. Leo is, of course, it's a fire sign, as Sagittarius and Aries are. And they're all about fire, passion, doing things, getting things done, directed will. Again, like we see in the rune Thuris has, and also in Othala, Nauthis, and Uruz if it was in the upright, okay? But what this means, everything is going to go well. Everything. It says positivity, success, health, fun, and good fortune. Yay. I mean, I would scream if I, wasn't afraid that's going to bring too much attention to myself. But those are exactly the kinds of good things that I wanted to hear. I needed to hear. I wish I could share, but man, I've been challenged so much. Awesome. We have 2 out of 3 cards, which are major arcana. And anytime you get a major arcana, that means the energy is increased or focused on that energy, right? So it means it's more powerful, in other words. And there's only like 20 or 21 major arcana in the deck, and there's 77 cards total. So that means there's another 50 some odd, 55 cards or whatever, they're minor arcana. And we still got 2 out of 3, or 2/3 of our cards were major arcana. That by itself defies odds usually. I don't know what the odds actually would. I'd have to do the math on it, but that's good stuff, man. All right, now let's go ahead and get into the runes themselves and see where we're at, you guys. All right, I've already did my invocation. Well, I haven't, okay. I'll call upon Odin 9 times in reverence and respect for the 9 days and nights he hung from the world tree, so that he could bring forward to us the magic, the understanding, the universal secrets that the runes themselves embody. And I pray that those secrets will be revealed here today for my collective. Woden, Odin, Woden, 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 Woden. I mix my spirit with those of the room. Give to us accurate and concise information so that my collective can benefit, and thank you. Now, what is the current energy, please, for today? Aha, excellent rune. This is Wunyo. I don't know if you can see it. I can't really tell in my phone. But Wunyo is the actual rune that we're looking for. It looks almost like Thuris has, but it's not. It's in the same ant group or family, however. And Wunyo basically means just like the Sun card: joy, bliss, peace, harmony. It also talks about blessings and affection and desire. You know, a great relationship that may either be coming or maybe restarting in your particular situation, if you're already married or already very much involved with a significant other, so to speak. Excellent room, excellent. So again, far better than what we pulled yesterday, right? All right, let's get some influences too. Let's see what the influences are to substantiate this as well. What are some of the influences the collective needs to be aware of? And thank you. Influence, please. Influence. Othala, but this time it's in the upright. That's the rune that we pulled for yesterday. Okay? Alright. So, and again, what does Othala mean? Well, it means house, home, dwelling, property, spiritual heritage. Means increase in abundance, safety. It means spiritual and physical journeys. It's one of the runes you call on whenever you're going deeply within to find answers, as far as the rune goes towards those types of endeavors from the Norse perspective. Another excellent rune. All right, one more influence, please. I get another influence for my collective, and thank you. Another influence. What is also influencing our energy for today, please? Thank you. Ah, darn it. All right, well, Fehu. This is Fehu in reverse. All right, this is the goddess Freya's rune. Well, hello again. You keep coming back. I mean, this guy is so close. He literally is almost on my foot. So the goddess Freya. Remember, she's married to Odin. Okay. What it means in reverse, however, is not particularly good. So we do have an angel and a devil, one on each shoulder. It talks about greed, loss, money problems and poverty, loss, I already said that, failure, okay? So these are the possible energies that are out there. And remember, you'll always have the yin and yang. Our job in this life is to make everything, or to balance everything out. Our masculine with our feminine, our light with our dark, and so on and so forth. In other words, you learn how to tame the beast, how to control it, and how to rise up and not be passive and allow yourself to be a doormat. At the same time, you have to find balance in all things to be the most enlightened and, I guess you could say, perfect example of who you individually are to be in this life. That's what this is telling us. We have that potential. So we have all this super positive energy. And even though Fehu sounds like it's negative, and it goes in reference with the Urus in reverse, which is also negative, it's just telling you those are potentials. Your potential will, or I should say your reality will be whatever you make it out to be. You have the ability to make it either light or dark, or right there in between. That balanced approach, if you will. Now, we all want good, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that spiritually. God, I mean, He wants you, or she, they want you to enjoy this life. You know, you have to do it within certain, reasonable boundaries. You know, anything that is done in excess is wrong. Anything. So, you want to make sure, and yes, of course, there are things that you might do or want to do that are not right. They are literally completely out of balance on the dark side, if you will. You know, like, of course, human trafficking, sex trafficking, human organ harvesting, you know what I'm talking about. Ritual sacrifice, killing animals, you know, just to get something you want. It may be something that was passed down from the dark side, but is it right? No, it's not. Is it balanced? Not even close. Does it sometimes get you what you want? Yeah, it does. It does for a short time. And God will allow you to think that as well. You know, just to see and to test you, to see just to what lengths you're willing to go. And some of you have gone way beyond, even though you've been warned countless times. So now the hammer's coming down. So prepare yourselves. Prepare yourselves. Mark my words. Those who laugh last laugh best. I'm not laughing at you. In fact, I actually have empathy for what you're about to experience. What you're going through right now, as horrible as it is nothing compared to what's to come. You don't get your act together. You don't make things right between you and God. That's what you can expect, I guarantee it. So you can say you've heard it here first. You can call me crazy, call me whatever you want. I don't really care what you think. And I know you don't care what I think too, even though these things are happening in your lives. That's fine. But I've given you every possible warning over the last 3 years, many, many times. And you don't want to abide or listen to it, even though these things are happening in your life. And I guess you're worse than a fool. That's all I can say. Worse than a fool. All right. And lastly, let's pull out the future, please. What is the future energy for my collective, please? Future energy for today, between now and midnight tonight. And I thank you. Future energy for my collective, and thank you. All right. Another great room. This is Gebo. Gebo. Yeah, it's an X. It's letter G in their alphabet. And again, like I said, every time I pulled this room, it's like X marks the spot on a treasure map because it's the lucky room. Well, that and Wunyo, actually. So, now what does it mean? It's also in the first ayat, which a lot of these have been for some reason. Sometimes that's what happens. I'll pull a lot of energies from one specific ayat that tells me that particular god or goddess is really influencing the things that are happening in that pool. Today, a lot of it is coming from Freya's. Okay? So what it means, what is basically equal exchange, right? Gifting. It was very important to a lot of indigenous cultures throughout the world. You know, where at the end of the year, some Native American tribes, for example, or other indigenous tribes, would actually dump all of their possessions out in the middle of the circle where they meet and do their ceremonies and meetings and things like that. And then they would exchange those gifts with, the other tribal members and everything else. You're passing something down that you had for that year to somebody else to enjoy for that next year. Things like that. Or it just means giving, to somebody else to keep that energy flowing of giving and then receiving. Okay? If you're hoarding, you're going to lose your prosperity. I guarantee you. That is basically found within Norse belief systems, and is found within the Abrahamic faiths as well. It's also talked about by Krishna himself in many cases. So yes, this is also one of those universal laws. Give, and it shall be given unto you in great measure, right? All right, so equal exchange, offerings, gifts. Don't forget also to gift those who are talking with and who are helping you also in the spiritual realm. That's what sacrifice is. It's not necessarily a blood sacrifice. That came by men later on through, I guess you could say, out of desperation, tried to bring back their gods, in a real-time scenario. They were willing to go to the greatest of measures to prove that, well, not the greatest of measures. They were killing other people, not themselves, but you know what I mean. They thought that that would somehow bring their gods back to them. Now, perhaps some of those gods who are not what we would classify as those of more on the light side, that may have actually told their, and I'm looking at Baal, for example. He's considered to be one of the, principalities of hell, if you will, powers. I don't know if he's a principality or a power of hell, but he's still called upon by many dark magicians today. But he's also looked at as possibly being Ra, which Ra could also perhaps be the child of Enki later on, and that's a whole other story. I don't want to get into that mythology. It gets confusing. But again, there's so many parallels between the Egyptian writings on that word, what we also see in some ways reflected in, especially during the Mahabharata in the Hindu belief system, but also in particular the Babylonian, cuneiform description of events and their gods and goddesses between Enki and Enlil, those two families, warring brothers. So, but Gebo is a good room. It's about giving and receiving. Okay, so keep that in mind. Giving and receiving. All right, now all we have left, you guys, is to pull out some more oracle cards. We have a lot of very, very positive energy for today. Simply tap into that. Focus on the right here, the right now, not 10 minutes from now or an hour from now or at the end of the day or whatever the case may be, but right this minute. What can you do to make this a better overall experience right here, right now, for you and for everybody who might be in your sphere of influence? And watch your day turn magical. Okay? Overcoming whatever negative energy is also present and just waiting to get its foot in the door. Just don't give it a chance. Don't give it a chance. It's all about learning. It's all about being taught, and some people literally are being taught by spirit their whole lives and never catching on to that reality. So that's what we're here for. This is a school. It's a galactic college, so to speak, this earth. And it's for more advanced spirits in a lot of cases. So it's not an easy test. It's not an easy journey at all. But we are in school, so study and be a good student. Let's get to the end of this. We can graduate. The world is changing very, very quickly, and there's going to be some huge, huge changes coming very soon. And unfortunately, it may be something to the effect of maybe even being a major reset. We've had many of them in the millennia that humanity has been here on this planet, and it's been more than 2,000 years. We may have been here multiple times before. In Atlantis, Lemuria, and many other cultures that we read about, ancient cultures, they may have all perished during certain resets. But again, we have the Golden Age, the Silver, the Bronze, and of course the Iron Age that we are currently in. Although people would disagree with that way of looking at it, spiritually it is. We are in the Iron Age. We are not advancing. We are actually, simultaneously, we're going to the lowest of the low, but there is a remnant that's being lifted up at the very same time. You can say from a Christian perspective, 144,000, for example. They are here. They are already preparing. They are already getting themselves, finding out their particular life purposes, and they are already preparing for their ministries, whatever that might be, and it'll be different for everybody. But they're stepping into their purpose right now, and there are those who are hunting them down right now. And this is particularly what was going on in my specific case with the people that have been trying to ruin me. Okay? So, and again, it is what it is. This is a battle at the same time. Forces of light and darkness, and darkness not wanting balance to happen in this universe. Balance is going to happen regardless of what they want. So let me get some extra energy, please. What are some hidden truths that my collective needs to be aware of? Okay. Now, this person keeps coming back in our readings. They want to feel the way that they had once felt with you. Again, I know who this is in my life. I hope that it also helps you to see or point more directly to who it is that might be coming into your life as well. Now, it doesn't have to be like in my case where this person may not have the best of intentions, or they want to actually, try to ride your coattail or become dependent upon you. So in some cases it may be a genuine relationship that wants to return. You'll have to decide that for yourselves, okay? But there is somebody in your energetic field that feels this way about you, okay? Let me get one more, please. Another hidden truth. Another hidden truth, please, for my collective. What else do they need to know? One more hidden truth, please. Okay, one more. Thank you. Okay, well, they believe that you will be together again. So whoever this is has a very strong belief that you two are meant to be together. They may come at you like you are supposed to be their divine counterpart, their soulmate, their twin flame, or whatever verbiage they may use. I would strongly urge you to really go within and see if that is true for you. Just because they say it doesn't mean it's so for you. Okay? All right. And again, I'm not trying to discourage you. I just want to give you the balanced perspective of these things. This is their perspective of things, and that's what I want you to understand. It may not be yours. Okay? And maybe you aren't supposed to feel that way about this other person. Maybe you are. You'll have to decide that for yourself. Okay? I can only give you the energy. All right, let's look at love. Can I get some love oracles, please? Love for my collective. Tell me something that they need to know concerning love, please, and thank you. What do they need to know about love? Love. All right, see? Karmic relationship, not dharmic, karmic. What does that mean? Feeling triggered, okay? Turmoil, resentment. They may look at you as competition and not truly as a soulmate. Somebody that's a helpmate. Somebody said that lift you up, not bring you down. Trying to look better than you. Letting go and loving you. Letting go and loving you. That could have been worded differently or better, I think. In the long run, what they're saying is, this is a karmic relationship. So, it may feel intense. It may feel very, at times, wonderful. As, for example, the beginnings of any new relationship. You have all that expectation. You have that sexual angst and everything else that comes along with it as well. Everything is new. And, with that, it seems grand. And it's easy to overlook the red flags. This is warning you to be cautious and to take things slow. Okay? Doesn't necessarily mean in your case it will be a karmic relationship. But it is pointing that out as a possibility. Now, karmic relationships are not always love relationships. They can be relationships with siblings, relationships with your children, relationships with your parents or other members of your blood family. It could be relationships of those you work with. You know, it could be any relationship that you have, basically. So it doesn't necessarily have to be one related to love in general. So just keep that in mind too. I'm trying to give you as much a complete overall perspective of the energy as I know how. Okay, one more for love, please. Let me get one more loving card on love, please, and thank you. One more card. Help us narrow this down, please. This energy is coming back. Thank you. Oops. All right, coffee cup. Okay. So it says meeting and conversing, savoring the moment, feeling uplifted, and a friendship. Well, I can say this. Regardless of karmic or dharmic relationships, you're going to learn something. So that's always going to be positive. So even with the negative relationships that you may have in your life, you are meant to learn something by and through them. Okay? So if you look at it from that perspective, it's not necessarily good or bad. It's about learning the lessons you specifically came here to learn. Okay? At least from my point of view, my way of understanding things. So, and my way of looking at things have changed many times over my life. The more I learn, the more I refine that way of thinking. So with that being said, collective, that's what we have. So again, to be cautious, but not in a way where you're scared or anything like that. It's just telling you that there is potential, if you're not aware, that could actually turn out to be very negative for you. Look at it as it is, as a learning experience. Even when a karmic comes back into your life, you can learn from that. Ask yourself, what am I supposed to learn in this situation, with this relationship? And you'll get the most out of that, okay? And with that, I'm going to leave you guys. And again, I wish you guys the very best weekend. I'll see you again tomorrow. Most of you are going to enjoy the 3-day weekend, so I try to do this every day. I've only missed, I think, 2 days so far, the last, well, almost 30 days. So, and I've got close to 45, posts put out there already, so I'm doing pretty darn good. I'm going to keep it on every single day I can. And soon I'll be posting music and things like that out there too. And that, hopeful note, I bid you all farewell, peace, and I'll see you in Valhalla.